Martha O'Brien, for instance, focuses on parenting skills, nutrition, health. Those are things going to give those people an opportunity to build the skills they need to get out of Casey homes. I think, obviously, they're there for a reason, that they're in obviously economic situation has not worked out for them or something like that. We need to give them an opportunity to build the skills they need to improve their lives to get out of Casey homes. I think that they're probably not happy about being there. They want to be out there just as much as anyone else. So I think, enforcing the rules is one thing, but I think there has to be the carrot of giving them opportunities through community groups like Martha O'Brien to help them move out of that situation. Those are the two. I think it's going to be a multi-pronged approach to get to where we want. Until we can find a long-term solution, like the HOPE grant money is gone now, but hopefully eventually those funds will come around again. Until we can find a long-term solution for improving those homes in that area. In the meantime, we're going to have to work with the police and with our nonprofits to sort of come up with a common sense group solution. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that everyone deserves a safe place to live, whether you're in the Casey area or you're across the street in Edgefield. I think that everyone wants to have a safe place to live and be around. And you look at what the challenges that Casey Homes encompasses, there are many. The residents that live over there face significant barriers day in and day out on what they have. I mean, you hear a lot in the press about the Casey Homes area being a food desert, but it's a desert in many more ways than that. You have an entire area that is missing out on any sort of connection to the community, the rest of the community. There's no economic opportunities for jobs. There's no retails or markets or anything for them to really take a part of. And we've created this situation where there's a group of our community that's isolated based on poverty, essentially. I don't know if it's a matter of density, because density can be done very well. It's a matter of poverty. And I think that what we need to do is to try to find ways in the years ahead to provide more opportunities in Casey for workforce housing, so that people who have jobs and are able to try to move up in the world can still have a place there, and also try to find ways to make it a more diverse area income-wise. Anytime that you have a concentrations of poverty, you're not going to get the results that we need, and right now that's a big part of it. As far as the component of your question, Carol, about holding MDHA accountable for enforcing the rules, certainly. I'd want to make sure that that was happening. But I also think that the bigger picture requires us as a community to ask the question of, is it okay for us to have a high concentration of poverty in our area that is as isolated as it's become? And I think that we have to realize that there have to be creative ways for us to engage them and take care of that scenario so it's no longer there. Thanks.
What concrete policy steps will you take to ensure housing remains affordable for workforce neighbors, including home ownership, rentals, Section 8, group homes, and homeless housing?
Yes. What concrete policy steps will you take to ensure housing remains affordable for workforce neighbors, including home ownership, rentals, Section 8, group homes, and homeless housing? Well, clearly, I think, obviously, having affordable housing is an important part of our neighborhood. We've been almost a victim of our own success in some ways, that home prices have continued to rise in East Nashville. In terms of policy procedures, I think those are going to take some funds. We're going to have to look for ways to do that. Section 8, obviously, I think the key thing is making those homes better for people to live there. I mean, I think we need to focus on spending some capital funds to create opportunities to improve that location, to improve the view of that. For instance, MDHA is spending some money on redoing Edgefield Manor. They're totally redoing those to make those look much better on the outside, as well as make them more comfortable on the inside. Home ownership in terms of government policy, that's a tough nut. Obviously we've all seen that loosening of certain types of regulations has had some problems with home ownership. We have to be careful about how we do that. Obviously, people who own homes are more secure and they're more stable. But what Metro can do, that's a tough question. I'm not sure if there's an easy answer for Metro to simply encourage home ownership in Nashville. We obviously want to see that, but that kind of thing is going to take money that Metro may not have. Rentals. Here in East Nashville, that they've created passed an ordinance where you can make legal second-story apartments in backs of homes. That could be a great way in East Nashville, to create additional density, allowing homeowners to legally create a small second floor in a garage apartment that they can maybe use for additional income for a homeowner, as well as giving opportunities for people to have affordable rental in East Nashville.
As far as concrete policies for all of those things, I think that it's going to require a number of activities. I think that we need to work to have more workforce housing. As far as homeownership and rentals, homeownership is obviously a very tricky thing. If you look at the current, what qualifies as affordable housing for purchase, it's something that is not accessible for a lot of people in our neighborhood and across the Nashville. It's something that is a formula we can't change too much, but I would be wanting to look forward to other options for rentals in more places. I think that, to go back on the previous question a little bit, it's a matter of dispersing options to more parts of the community so that you don't have high concentrations of low-income housing, of poverty, of rentals, but try to find ways to spread it around. What Hans mentioned as far as the in-law houses you can have on your detached garage, I think that's a good thing. I think that we can have more opportunities for people to live, to create the more dense environments. Another part of that, I think, goes to transportation. If you look at a lot of people's costs, the biggest cost they have, of all the funds they have, housing and transportation is a huge chunk of that. And to the extent that we need to make sure that we're addressing the housing side, we also need to make sure that we're addressing the transportation side. And that's where I would be very supportive of improving access to public transit through MTA and through what we hope will be a streetcar of some sort that comes through East Nashville. And that would also extend to other regional transit systems to get people to where they can have somewhere to live that's affordable and have access to a job that allows them to pay for the things they need to pay for.
In the last 10 years, 1 out of every 10 houses or units that have been created in Nashville are affordable housing. You compound that with the current economic climate that we're in right now, and a lot of folks have stumbled, and they need affordable housing desperately to get back on their feet. And personally, as I feel about it, helping those people get back on their feet, of providing affordable housing to the people in Nashville, by helping them, we'll be helping ourselves. When we don't allow people to have good access to affordable housing, there's 2 things that happen. They either leave to go elsewhere to find it, and we lose their talents, we lose their labor, we lose their ability to pay taxes, and we lose them as a neighbor. And they're definitely one of us. I think, when we all think of Section 8 housing and affordable housing, we have this idea that the folks that go there are just despots, and they are pitiful people, and they're not. They're folks that have lost a job. They're folks that aren't able to make their home payment. They're folks that are maybe they just graduated from high school and they're joining a workforce or a labor climate that's not exactly allowing them to just jump right in and start earning a salary. So I think that in Nashville we need to make a strong commitment to improving the affordable housing units that are available to the people. That being said, I also think that we should go ahead and change some policies that have been invoked by the large high-rise buildings that we see out here. A lot of times what happens is a large portion of the units are labeled as affordable housing. But what ends up happening is that the unit has a demographic that they're searching for. And so who ends up qualifying are waitresses, bartenders, and those folks who on paper show us that they make a lot less than they actually do. And they're able to move in there, they use the house, and they use the unit, and then a few years after their time is up, they end up selling it and inheriting those profits, and then they take that affordable housing unit back off the market. On a local level, we need to go ahead and stop that and invoke policies. I apologize, my time's up, but invoke policies that will stop that from happening.
We're going to throw a green question in there. This is a two-part question. The first part is, Mayor Dean has committed to making this the greenest city in the Southeast. Do you support his efforts, and what concerns do you have about improving the environment in this city? The second part is, what environmental initiatives will you promote or propose for Nashville? It's number 5 in this.
Do you guys want me to reread it?
Yeah, go ahead and reread it, please.
All right, just to reread the question, Mayor Dean has committed to making this the greenest city in the Southeast. Do you support his effort, and what concerns do you have about improving the environment in this city, and what environmental initiatives will you propose or promote for Nashville? All right, I do support Mayor Dean's efforts to make Nashville the greenest city in the Southeast. I think that we're well on our way to making a lot of those initiatives. I think that we have a long ways to go. My platform of Smart Growth Starts Here seeks to address this very concern and focusing our density more closely, providing more transit options. As much as we can do that, that will reduce our emissions, that will reduce our footprints, it will make us more productive. I think that we see things such as the District 6 Energy Fix. It's a great initiative that we are currently offering for residential homes in the area to get energy audits and reduce their consumption. I think that I'll be very interested in trying to find ways to extend that to commercial areas so that we're able to find more ways to reduce our consumption of energy across the board. Obviously, we want to make sure that we also promote more pedestrian and bike-friendly policies, and that includes sidewalks, bike lanes. We want to try to increase recycling and composting for a lot of areas. The Shelby Park Nature Center or Shelby Bottoms Nature Center often will have composting and composting and rain barrel creating type of activities. I would do as much as I could to promote those and make sure those happen on a regular basis, and that people are aware of the benefits that a lot of these activities will take. Being sustainable and having a sustainable environment is something that requires citywide efforts, community-wide efforts, but also involves people taking active changes to their lifestyles. And it can be something as simple as going to a local business. It can be something as simple as throwing something away, or instead of throwing something away, recycling that or composting it and trying to find ways to reduce your own garbage output. So within that broad spectrum of sustainability, I will do as much as I can to promote that.
Okay, yeah. I think, again, if I can use the term again, investing in green will be investing in ourselves. This is a long-term idea. I absolutely am in favor of Mayor Dean's initiative to make this the greenest city in the Southeast, because I think that other cities are going to soon realize that they need to be green or they're going to suffer the consequences. We already see days right now in the summertime where we get these haze warnings and things like that. If we want to be a city that's free of smog, when we have free, clean drinking water and those types of things, we have to be committed to green. One of the things that I think is great is the District 6 energy fix that my opponent mentioned is citywide. District 6 has ours, District 5 has theirs, it's citywide. We need to encourage and give incentives to people to go ahead and put weather stripping in their houses, make their houses more energy efficient. A lot of the federal tax breaks have been exhausted, so I think the city, we need to come in there and provide that incentive so that we're making our city as a whole more energy efficient. The other thing is LEED green buildings. Now, when we look at the buildings, like we look at historic Edgefield, Edgefield Manor, the community for the older folks that's down there on Shelby, they have solar panels that have just been erected on the roof. They have energy efficient water. They have energy efficient heating and cooling. Now those things cost a lot more money right now. They do. So the cost is great right now, but it's realized in the future with the energy savings. It's realized in the future